I think Andrei is supposed to let us know, like in the chat, or I
Okay.
don't know, he's gonna wave at us, or I don't know. But somehow we should know.
Are people gonna connect to the Zoom meeting or they're gonna watch on the
No, they're gonna watch it. They're gonna watch it on. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're here. We're streaming. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Hello everyone.
It's super weird not to see anybody, but this is actually my first experience ever streaming on YouTube. So yeah, it's really strange not seeing anyone. But I hope you guys are there and that we're not, talking to the void. There are people there. So good to have you here. And let's just introduce ourselves real quick before we jump to questions. So I'm Anya. I work for AgileFluent, and we have Zhenya today, our super good friend and a senior front end engineer at one of the FAANG companies. So, yeah, and we're super excited to have you all here. Today, we're going to discuss questions that you've already sent us in the form. And also, we'll be happy to see your questions in the chat, right, on YouTube so that we can answer them after we answer all the questions from our form. Yep. And maybe also just a couple of words about AgileFluent and who we are, what we do, and then Zhenya will also give a couple of words about him. So AgileFluent is a service, is a great product that's been around for a little more than a year. So we're still very fresh and young, but we are super helpful because we have had a lot of offers for the past couple of months. So our clients get offers from IT and digital companies in Portugal, Switzerland, Israel, Germany, and the UK, and many other countries. So basically, we're a service who helps non-native English speakers, predominantly or initially Russian speakers, find a job and land a job in the international market. So we help with resumes, we help with LinkedIn profiles, we help with interview process, and we also help you look for the right jobs, for the right vacancies for you. And basically, yeah, these are the services that we offer. So we are super happy to invite as many cool guys who have already landed a job in the international market. And that's why we have collaborated with Zhenya, and we're very thankful to him for taking the time and coming. So Zhenya, a word to you. Yeah.
Sure. So my name is Evgenii or Evgenia. So I work at the one of the FAANG company, pretty widely known. I'm one of the engineers. So I work as a front-end engineer, but right now I can also say that I'm software engineer. So I've been working in this company for more than 1 year, and I have a YouTube channel that I started by preparing for the interviews to many FAANG companies. And yeah, this stream is dedicated just to Q&A, so you can ask questions how to prepare for FAANG companies, any like any topic that you're interested in, how it's like, what it's like to work in the FAANG, how it's different from the normal companies that you worked before, and so on. So feel free to ask any questions. We're here exactly for that. So yeah, welcome everybody.
Yep. All right. So I guess we can start with questions that you guys have sent us, right? So the first question here, I will read your questions out loud. I'm sorry, we don't know who sent the questions because the names, I guess, were ciphered, so they're anonymous, but hopefully those people who ask will remember that it's their question. So let's start with the first one. Is there an algorithm section in Meta, or I guess FAANG, for front-end engineer position?
So usually the companies have a special like front-end track. So if you're applying as a just software engineer, you can expect that you will have the algorithm section. But if the company has a front-end track, usually they have a dedicated front-end topics. And so sometimes they ask algorithm questions and you need to prepare for them. For the Meta specifically, I can't say directly. But the Meta has a front-end track, and you can get more info by applying for any front-end position and connect with the recruiter.
All right, thank you. Let's see, another question, very interesting one. I think we can both answer it. So a huge baggage of soft skills and back-end, front-end design, UX, Figma, design systems, PM, wow. But there's no visible enough primary skill that can be proved by experience and shown in CV. How can I make the company believe that I'm the exact brilliant they're looking for? Good question. Tricky one. Jenny, what do you think?
So as I understand the question, the person is applying for some positions on external companies. It's not the question about the person trying to prove their work in their company they're employed in, right? All right. So if you work as like small company that doesn't have any like brand name that is widely known outside, it really will depend on you. How will you prepare your CV? Because you need to describe your experience. Also, if you say that you have experience in Figma and PMs and so on, this means that you build some projects, and the companies want to see which projects you built before and how it's done, and what is the business value that you bring in the company. So even if it's a small company, you probably had lots of like responsibilities and also ownership, because the smaller the company, more ownership you have. Prepare the numbers. Like I moved this metric, like I moved revenue of the company from 20% by 50% at the end of the year by releasing some features. So and explain what you did. Were you EPM, were you like leading the small team, like 10 people and so on, or you're a designer that did for example, you know, that's sometimes when you change something on the UI, it directly reflects on the revenue of the company. If you're a designer, this is a use case for you. You need to present your experience and anything that you did in the company and positively reflect that on the company's results or has some impact on the company performance. Present this, and it's important to give the future employee the numbers. They want to see the metrics, numbers, concrete things. If you say I have experience with APM, Figma, UIs, but it doesn't say anything. So you need to have a concrete examples. And even if the company is not well known, so just provide these examples, and on the interview you can dive deeper. Anna, maybe you have more because more suggestions, because you directly work with such questions.
Right. Yeah, actually, well, first of all, I think you did great at answering this question. And honestly, there's not that much to add, but I think this person who asked about how can I make the company believe that I'm the exact brilliant they're looking for, I think there is a couple of things that we should mention here. So if you are a person who has a lot of skills, right? Back end, front end design. So basically, you know a lot of things and you've done a lot of things. You should understand what is it that you want to do, right? So what position you're applying for, because maybe you will be applying for a position as a back end engineer and you will not need, design or Figma or whatever. So that will be irrelevant. And you don't really have to mention this on your resume, honestly. But if it's the opposite story and you're applying for a front end engineering position, then of course your resume will also look very different. So it's a matter of the vacancy that you're applying for, a job you're applying for. You have to know to read the job description and basically tailor your resume to that exact job description. Your resume is not just, like a diary of everything that you know to do, basically. Maybe your LinkedIn could be that diary. It could be that place where you put everything from front end to back end, from Figma to, I don't know, project management, whatever. But your resume is always a little different depending on what position you're applying for. So that's number one. Number two is what Jane has already mentioned, is the numbers, or the XYZ method, right? Where you have to show, and this is exactly how you show the recruiter that you are the brilliant, right? The gem that they're looking for, by putting these X, Y's, and Z's, right? By adding numbers, by showing your achievements, by showing how much your company and the business has changed by your, basically by your contribution to this business, right? So this is number two. I think that this is basically it. And also, if a CV is never enough, you should also write a cover letter. So maybe if there's some things that you didn't put in your resume, but you really want your recruiter, your hiring manager to learn about you, you could, implement them and just add them to your cover letter. So not put them on your resume, but add them to the cover letter. Again, if it's relevant, right? If it's something that will show, again, that will show the hiring manager that you are the brilliant, the gem they're looking for. Yeah. All right. I think we can move on to the next question. Could you please describe how the front-end developer and designer should organize their work and communication while working on the project?
Oh, that's an interesting one. So basically, the design and front-end engineers are working closely together, and you need to interact with the design on the early stages. So first of all, before building any product, usually you have a PM that describes the business cases, how everything should work. If you don't have a PM, you need to take this PM role and provide some basic like mockups for the design and explain what you want to get from the design. So it really depends on the team size. I'll describe the case when you don't have a PM and you are like the senior engineer that's responsible for the communicating with the design and also communicating with the business what they want to build. So it's better to involve the design in early stages as you have the understanding what you want to build. Provide the design, all this document with the business cases, and also the simple mockups. You don't need to be a designer. Yeah, use any like mockup tool to build to implement the simple cases and talk to the design what you want to see. Then the design prepares the basic version of the future product, and now you work in iterations. So you basically iterate on the design. First, you see this alpha version of the design. iterate and then give the feedback to the designers, because sometimes design can design something that technically would be hard or expensive or impossible. So you need to clearly understand what you need to clearly say to design, these things are impossible, these things are expensive, and come up with the common solution. And yeah, you basically iterate each time. And if you have any so sometimes you don't know which way to go. You have two designs, and there is a thing called A/B testing. You basically prepare two design mockups and then use a target group to check which design mockup get more positive feedback. And then you proceed on the mockup that you chose. And then you again iterate on this mockup and so on until you have the version that you can be ready for implementation. If you have the PM, usually the PM prepares the business document and also explaining the business cases, and you need to involve the PM in the design discussion. And basically it simplifies things for you because the PM prepares the business cases, but in terms of engineering, you need to tell the design which solution faster to implement or more cheaper, depending on the project budget.
Thank you. All right, here comes another one. Hi, Evgeny. I'm a test automator. I understand that I have already reached the maximum in my field. Developers and architects can have much higher salaries. Which way do you think I should go next? Front end, back end, full stack, DevOps, or maybe dive into architecture and AWS and become cloud architect? What would you recommend?
It's hard to decide the destiny for somebody, but you need to choose anything that closer to your heart. I would say, because in any of this field, you can get a really nice salary and the potential to grow. So if you don't know what to choose, you can basically try start introductory course, take it on the Udemy or any other platform where you can get it cheap. And if you feel okay, I like it, try to go deep dive and continue to explore this space. Any of this space is pretty complex, and it requires you multiple years to be professional in this sphere. So, and each of the sphere has a really high compensation. So my word here is choose what's closer to your heart and what do you want to do.
Yeah, I guess maybe I totally agree with your answer, but I guess this person is trying to figure out, what's closer to a test automator, maybe what would be easier for him or her to shift, maybe. What would you say if we looked at the question, this way?
So if the person has the experience with the automation, and the testing automation, it can be two cases. He works on the Java platform and write automated testing on the Java language or Kotlin language. Then it would be maybe easier to start on the backend and learn the enterprise development on Kotlin and the Java, because you already know the language, the language that you basically use it for automation. So if the person uses JavaScript for automation, it might be easier to start on the Node backend development or maybe UI. So because this is, again, you just have the experience with the JavaScript. This will make your learning way faster. So yeah, that kind of that.
Wow, good. Okay, you're just speaking some language to me that I don't understand at all, but I think the person should have definitely gotten the answer that they were looking for. So thank you. All right, I love this one. I have no questions.
It's great.
So
It's great.
yeah, it's great. Thank you. The person just took the time to let us know that he or she does not have any questions. Good. All right. Moving forward, what are the most fun, exciting, and boring, tedious activities that you have to do as a senior front-end engineer?
I feel like writing architectural docs because
That's what,
before you,
tedious or fun?
it's not fun. I
Okay,
mean,
so that's where you decided to start with tedious. All right.
yeah, it's more like a tedious job that before building anything big, you usually describe it in the like you write engineering doc, then you align with the partners, get the comments, then work on the feedback, then post again, work on the feedback, post again, and until everybody are aligned. And in some companies, you need to go through the company review for if you build something important and big. You have usually you have a company review, and it takes also a time to get through this review. Yeah, this is the like this is expected work from the seniors and above to do because you're basically responsible for architecture of this future solution. So the most like fun activity, I don't know. I feel like coding because
Right. You feel like
yeah,
coding is
the
fun.
problem is that the more senior you are, the less you code, to be honest, because
Shoot.
uh, yeah, you basically spend more time writing the Google Docs for other engineers so they can take over, and you usually delegate your work to somebody. And sometimes you won't just take everything and code everything, but
Do it with your hands, right?
yes. And when you're like young and when you're just starting your career, it's really cool to explore new technologies. So try this, and build the background. But with more, when you get more seniority, you actually you code less basically. Right now, I code like 50% of my working time, and
How
when I
many
was
percent? How
like
many?
50%,
50. Okay.
and it's still good. But I understand the if I grow, for example, to the staff level, I will code about 20%. So the fun part so yeah, the fun part is coding for me.
I see. I see. Well, 50% is not that bad. Of course, compared to 20%, that's still enough coding, right? And it's like I've been learning so much to code, and then you get senior and then you stop
Yes.
coding. Yeah, okay. Vicious circle. Let's see. Advice for a junior front-end engineer. What advice would you give?
Oh, pretty abstract question. But um, I can be a Steve Jobs and say stay hungry, but um, yeah, but basically this is an advice. When you're junior, try to find a mentor. This is the best thing how to proceed in the career and the most important thing that you can do for your career. Find the senior engineer that's ready uh, to take you as a mentee and learn from the senior engineer. Learn the technologies that you work on, and also try to understand them, like do the deep dive, understand how everything works underneath, because you don't have any, like the company will not pay you for just knowing how to build web pages on the React. So sometimes you need to have more like complex understanding of the things. And the more complex understanding you have, the better salary you will have on the when you're applying for the offers, and more senior you become. So never stop learning, find a mentor, and yeah, have fun. I mean, don't burn out, because usually I see like junior engineers, they work 15 hours a day. that's like expected because you learn so much, but you need to balance. Try not to burn out, because when you're burning out, you can just be out of industry for 3 6 months, and it's better like yeah, you may be a junior and you're really like you like what you learn, and that's a different case. But if you just uh spending your time just to, I don't know, do more job, that's not that's not smart. Also try to take some more like complex projects. Never when you're junior, you need to be out of your comfort zone all the time to get learning. And usually when you're junior, you learn pretty fast because everything is new. But the more, also don't be afraid of taking responsibilities. So taking responsibilities is what defines senior engineer. Senior engineer can be responsible for many things, and you don't need to be afraid, and making mistakes is also considered fine, because you don't when you make mistakes. There is no engineer that didn't make mistakes. So when I was a more like junior engineer, several times I broke the production just because I was wanted to make it faster, like make things faster and so on. But this is also a good experience. So don't be afraid of yes, of making mistakes. Yeah, I think that's it.
Great. Okay, such a wonderful answer, full of joy and inspiration. It's funny because when I used to work as a language instructor for the Higher School of Economics. Those of you who are from Russia know about this college. And yeah, I used to work there as a language and English language instructor, and I used to tell my students, yeah, like just have fun. You
Yep.
have to have a lot of fun while you're studying or working, or just yeah, enjoy. That's one thing I wanted to to add. But one question that I would also add, so you said to look for a mentor, right? To find a mentor. So how would you look for a mentor? What would you want to do? How do you find a mentor?
Some companies have the mentorship programs. Basically, the people applying there as the mentors, and you as a mentee can apply to this program, and company will assign you a mentor. This is the first way. And this another way is to, for example, you have a team with several senior engineers. Try to connect with the senior engineer and ask if he can be your mentee. He can be your like mentor.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Try to be direct, like explain what you want, and also be proactive. Don't expect that the mentor is going to like say do that, do that, do that. So try to propose the plan, what you want to do. Try to get the advice, and be mindful about the mentor time, because the mentor uh, the mentor doesn't want to take the part job, like educating you. So you need to be proactive and get concentrated advice from the mentor, and use that advice for your learnings. So also the mentors can act as the like inspirational people, because they have lots of experience. They did many mistakes, and they went through many things, and they can just share their like memories, mistakes, and all of the learnings and so on, that you can use for your own like inspiration. For example, I have a friend, and he took the internship before, and so I was looking at him, and he was already more like a middle senior engineer. So, and he found a job after applying for internship. So, and this sort of greatly motivated me to try to applying for internships too. And also he started to study like English in the maybe on the first year of university. So,
Mm-hmm.
and this also motivated me to study like the language even more. And I also like started to learn the language and so on. So when you see the good example and the role model, you can follow this role model and be a better person yourself. It's important to find the positive role model because there are some negative role models. Try to find exactly the positive one. Yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Oh, I think you did super well. Yeah. I wish I could see the people who asked us these questions so, they could let us know if we answered fully or not, but unfortunately we can't. Maybe you guys, if you hear your question and if you like the answer, maybe you give a thumb up or a plus in our chat or something so that we know we've answered. All right. What does it require? Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm reading it correctly because it has some typos, but
Mhm.
what it requires to move, I guess, to senior roles at front end. I think this is the idea of the question.
So when you're junior, you work on the like small features, bugs, like some small tests that are not like business critical. Middle engineers usually work on the like product features on small product parts. And in order to be the senior engineer, you need to, first of all, you need to understand the project that you work on. So if you're right now in middle engineer in the project, so you need to have the really good understanding of the whole project. Second, you need to try to speak with your team lead and also with your manager and prepare the, for example, the promotion plan. So the promotion plan is basically the set of things that so you set the goals for example, for the year that I want to learn this, this, this. Also, I want to complete these features. And I also want to take more responsibilities in terms of, I don't know, maybe you want to be an expert in the team for the CI tooling, or maybe you want to be an expert for performance optimization on the UI in the team. So you're becoming an expert in one field and you're becoming the person to go to with the set of problems. And this will define your seniority in the product, because once people see you as an expert, and the person they want to ask questions regarding certain field, this greatly helps you to establish your position in the team. So also the promotion plan is usually it's a formal thing for the manager in the future to promote you on a project, because if the manager sees, all right, he completed this stuff and also implemented these features and also took responsibilities for big part of the product, and maybe he'll let some like middle engineers and junior engineers. So this clearly defines that you're probably deserve the promotion to the senior role. This like the another way how you can go, and this is the easiest way, is just to apply for a senior position outside and fake it till you make it. Because usually when what I noticed that the interview process on the senior roles is easier than on the junior roles in terms of technical things. Sometimes like the senior position, usually the companies on the senior position, they ask your experience and they work with the behavioral. So they're trying to understand your behaviors and your behavioral. So behavioral interview will identify whether you're a senior or not. And they don't need even to understand how technical deep you are, because senior engineers have this behavioral set of mind that they can show. For example, how they handle the conflict, how they handle like difficult situation in a team. For example, for instance, imagine that you have the architectural solution to some problem, and your team disagrees with you. What do you do in this case? But you believe that this is the way to go, and you need to, and this is the best what you can do. So, and you need to show, so by answering this question, interviewer will see your seniority level. And there are many of them. It's usually in the companies, there is a separate interview called behavioral interview, which sometimes people struggling to pass because especially if they're non-native speakers. Imagine like if your language is not perfect, it's really hard to describe the situation from the past and also and so on. Yep, but it's actually this. I feel like I started to answer another question about the behavioral interview, but
No, actually, that's good that you're also mentioning that, because I think that we should let everybody know that hopefully we do organize another mock interview with a front-end engineer, well, Zhenya, so who will be interviewing you guys. I mean, the technical skills, right? Assessing technical skills, and one of our experts at AgileFluent will be responsible for this behavioral part interview that Jen has just been talking about. So for those of you who were really interested to see what an interview looks like, yeah, we're definitely going to organize a mock interview with Zhenya. So, yeah.
also comment on this stream and thumbs up for this topic, and we'll prepare the mock interview so you can participate. And yeah, they'll also be streamed. So
Right.
let us know, what do you think about it?
Yep. Please do, because we'll also have to start looking for a person who will be interviewed live. So we need you guys as candidates and volunteers. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Good. Okay, one more question. Have you ever considered switching to management? Why?
So when I think about the management, I feel like I still want to be technical person, and I'm considering to like advance my career as a tech lead. So basically this is the maybe like 30-40% management and 60% technical. It's where you define the basically you prepare the high-level architectural docs for the team, and then your senior engineers take over the doc and dive deep into the details of the product's feature. That's I'm considering the way to go for me, but the management is just a bit different set of mind. You need to be really like people first person that enjoys to work with the people, understand their needs, how they can be like advance their career. And I still want to stay like technical, and I like technical things. I like technical stuff, and I
You
enjoy
like
like,
coding?
as I said, I enjoyed coding, and I don't want to like stop coding at the moment. Maybe when I get older, I don't know. Maybe I'll want to go into the management track, but still, I feel like I want to continue my journey as the like architect.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Our next question is, does a front-end developer have the same scope of career growth in terms of pay and job roles as compared to back-end developer?
Oh,
Interesting
I can
question.
answer that. So so the most like paying jobs at the market are FAANG companies like Facebook, Google, Meta. Sorry, Meta is a Facebook, Netflix, and so on. And you can be surprised, but the salary for UI is the same as the salary for just software engineers on the back end. And you, in terms of the money that you can get, these are the same opportunities. However, in the bigger companies, you're not just working on the UI. Usually, it's the mix of the work. Some work. So you like 50% of your time you spend on the UI. but the more senior you are, you started to dive into the backend abstractions and so on. So in answering the question, in terms of the money and the career growth, it's all the same. And I don't see any difference, to be honest. Maybe if we go to on the market stats, I don't see any like big difference too, to be honest, even though in the middle-sized companies. There are like certain specialists that can get higher salaries, for example, computer vision specialists, because this is really like specifically like rare role that company can ready to hire, and it's really hard to obtain the specialists for like computer vision. That's why the computer vision specialist can get more money in theory, but for the backend and front end, it's all the same.
All right, interesting. I didn't know anything about that, and it's yeah. To me, this is something new, and yeah, good to know. All right. Is it required to have a Bachelor of Science degree to get full-time offer from FAANG companies?
No, you can have the school degree and you still can be hired as the senior engineer, staff engineer, and so on. The only difference would be is that some countries have the visa process that requires you to have the higher education. But usually what companies do, they find the country there where they can relocate you, and they relocate you there. In terms of the UK and US, as I know, you can go with any degree. The only thing, maybe there will be some difficulties in US, I'm not sure, but as I know, you don't need any higher degree there.
Okay. How did you estimate salary level for different regions and cities?
So the question, how do you analyze that, or how do I, what are the numbers I know?
I think it's how you measure, but maybe yeah, if you can disclose some of the numbers, maybe you could, but if that's not, I mean, if you're not allowed, then not. But how
So
would you look for numbers if you were a candidate?
the best resource is the levels for your information. So how can I write the comment to, if I post the comment in the Zoom, can you just reproduce it on the YouTube?
I think we could.
Just a sec.
Yeah, let's try it.
This is the website.
Okay, I asked the guys to send it to the chat. So, I mean, hopefully they will.
So there is a website called Levels FUI, like for your information, and it allows you to browse the salaries on the different regions for the different companies, and it's specifically focused on software engineer roles. And you can basically analyze it in any country. But in terms of the numbers, by the way, I have a YouTube video on the UK salaries on my channel. You can watch it to see the salaries in the UK, but in terms of the global market, I will not say about like Russia right now, but I can say about the Europe. So in the Europe, let's say the senior role, right? So the senior role in Europe can get from like 50,000 euros to 350,000, so like 350,000, and it will depend on the size of the company. So of course, like 95%. So the lower range usually is 50 to 70 thousands. The middle range would be around 85, 140, 150. And the high end range, some like the big tech companies, usually it's like 250, 350,000 euros.
Mhm.
As you can see, the band is pretty high. Like you can get 50,000 euros or you can get 300,000 euros, depending on the company you're applying for. Um, in terms of the UK, yeah, I feel like it's better to watch my video because I presented the chart with the salaries, but you can multiply the numbers from Europe by maybe by 50%, and you will have the average salary in the UK, because the UK salary is like 30-50% more than the Europe, and US salaries are like crazy comparing to the numbers we get in the UK and the US. Usually the US salaries 60-70% more than UK salaries. So if you compare it with Europe, it's like 2-3 times difference sometimes.
Wow.
That's the hot market.
Crazy.
Oh, I should
Oh,
mention one exception. Switzerland is the exception. In Switzerland, you can get comparable to the US offers from the companies. Usually they are the same. But in Switzerland, the market is pretty small. There are like some companies that work there, like Google, Meta, and so on. And they basically try to hire the talent from each other. And also the cost of life in Switzerland is a bit higher. That's why also the salaries are comparable to the US.
okay. Let's see. Our next question is, I'm a back-end developer. What steps do you recommend to do to be hired by FAANG company? What experience should I have? Thank you.
Sorry, I was reading the comment section. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'm a back-end developer. What steps do you recommend to do to be hired by a FAANG company? What experience should I have? Thank you.
Oh, so if you're applying for the FAANG companies, they don't really care about your technology stack. So this means that, for example, if you're backend Java engineer, they don't care about Spring or other like server-side technologies. Also, they don't care about AWS and so on. But they care about your basic computer science knowledge, because usually when you interviewing for a software engineer position, the companies ask you algorithmic questions. This can include like knowledge of the graphs, dynamic programming, and so on, and the understanding of the data structures, how you can use these data structures to solve the problems is crucial to pass the algorithmic round. Another point is companies are interested in the how can you design a large scale system on a high level. So you don't, on this type of this interview called system design, and on this type of interview, companies are not tied to any specific technology. For example, you can say, I want to use the Amazon Lambda. So usually it's like the AWS service, but on the interview, you usually use the more high-level terms, like I will not say that, like load balancer, the queue, and the task queue, and so on. So there are many like specific terms for the system design. Some companies can ask you, okay, you choose the no-scale solution. Which solution would you choose? Like, and there are many no-scale solutions. And can you compare the databases? But usually, people on the system design, they ask more like high-level things, like, okay, why you want to use the relational database instead of like no-scale? How do you load balance the things? How do you reconcile the master node, and so on? So there are like, it's all more high level, and you need to prepare for this high level design. that's why it's called architectural interview, because you operate with the high level terms.
That's you're done with this answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, this is more about London here. Evgenie, hi. What do you like in London and what you don't? I'm not able to choose between London and Berlin to relocate. EWS, thank you.
Just a sec. I just want to share the link to my channel. I see that moderator asked for that. Just a sec. Share this. So, London. First of all, you need to like you need to think about it in terms of the country. The how, for example, how fast can you get the maybe permanent residence or the passport? As I know, for Germany, the process is a bit long, like 6-7 years. Also, does country accept dual citizenship? Do you need to give up your previous passport? For example, in Germany, they don't accept the dual citizenship, and the UK accept this. So you can have two passports, and this also pretty important if you want to visit your relatives later and parents and so on. The third point is the market. How big the market, and what are your career opportunities in the future. So the Germany market, comparing to the UK, I think it's much smaller. However, there are many companies there too. Also, another crucial point is the language. Are you ready to learn German to integrate in a German society? Because when you come to the country and you want to get the passport, you want to understand the culture of the country and like be a citizen. In Germany, you'll need to learn the German, and you'll need to spend a considerable amount of time to learn a new language. And UK is easy because usually software engineers are quite good in English, and you basically come to the country with the English as a main language, which is also a benefit. But also, the next point is the personal situation, because if you have a large family and maybe your partner also a software engineer, then you will not worry about the money. But if you have kids and your partner will not be able to work for a long time, and in this case, Germany might be better because it's still like socialist country and they provide many tax benefits. In the UK, there are much less tax benefits for that. If I would choose between the Germany and the UK, I would choose UK, because, and for me, one of the most important things is the language and how fast I can get the passport, integrate in the society, and also the diversity of the people, because London is really diversified. You can find the people here from any part of the world, from any country, with a pretty diverse background, and that's a really cool feature of this city. And yeah, also the climate. I'm not sure. I'm not aware of the Berlin climate, to be honest. But London, comparing to Russia, has a great climate. But there is lots of sun comparing to, for example, St. Petersburg and Moscow. And winter in London is like Florida for me, to be honest, comparing to to Russia. So it also depends what weather do you like. Yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think that was very comprehensive. All right, and the last question that we have in our table, and then we'll move on to questions that you guys asked while streaming. So I'm 23 years old. I have about 13 months of full-time experience as a front-end developer at a US neobank. I feel comfortable designing UI and writing JavaScript. In summary, I can now build features easily. What should I learn or how should I plan my future learnings so that I can get into FAANG as a front-end engineer in the future?
Okay. Um, so the person who asked the question mentioned that he already like feels confident with writing the JavaScript and building the small apps. So in terms of the learning, to be honest, you can apply for front-end position at FAANG even with the 2 years of experience. You just basically can apply for a junior position and maybe a middle position, and you can try. There is no like specific knowledge before going to the big tech, but I would say that you might be it might be better to stay a bit maybe a bit away from the big tech until a certain point, because in the big tech there is a specific stack that is used inside and is used nowhere else. So when you come to the big tech and they use their own like development frameworks, and this experience usually is not convertible. So when you go outside to any of the companies, you can't use this experience because these are frameworks that are used only internally. And when you're on the early stages of your career, you need to get better, like broader picture of the things in the industry. And it's I feel like it's cool to get this experience working with a different set of technologies, because this broader your mind, and you also broader your understanding of the industry. So for myself, I wouldn't go to FAANG too early. Yeah, this is FAANG gives you good money, but sometimes like learnings are much better than just money. And in terms of let me think, what do you need to prepare? I would say learn how to build large scale systems. And even if you're a UI, you need to be interested in how the backend works, how the systems are designed. Read engineering articles. There are many engineering articles from the Netflix, from the Facebook, from many big tech companies, and they usually publish this big academical doc. Read it, understand what they did, and you will be a better developer when you read this, because you understand how like some large scale solutions were built. And yeah, but I think I answered that.
You did definitely. Okay, actually, we're through with questions from our table. I love this question. Vita, Vita Karpov is writing, hey Vita, it's good to have you here. Thanks for watching. Vita is asking, how do you guys cope with the heat? Boy, London is on fire, literally. JD, is it really that hot? I'm
It's
in
hard.
Yerevan. It's super hot. It's like 40 degrees. So I don't know if London can get that hot.
Yeah, so we have like 35 36 degrees in London, and for London this is considered crazy because London doesn't have air conditioning in the houses, because usually the summer in London is 23, 24, and they get like 3-4 days of the heat. But here it's like 3 weeks, and the next week they promise that we can have 41 degrees, and 41 in London, like I don't know, I think like the subway will stop working because of this heat.
It
And
might, it might. Screw global warming, honestly. All right. Good. And we have just a few questions left in our chat. So number one and now we're not anonymous anymore, from Umar Muhandis.
Mhm.
Question one, can you refer to Meta?
Yeah, write me on the LinkedIn.
Wow,
That's
look
right.
at
I
this.
definitely can do that.
Good. All right. Also, a question from Umar. Did Meta freeze the hiring process to EMEA regions?
To be honest, I can't answer this question, so sorry, Umar. You can write the question to the maybe recruiter and get more info on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, okay, Siddharth Patel. What amount is DS algo knowledge is required for front-end developer role at Meta?
Okay, here I can give you the advice. So the front-end engineer role will like require the good understanding of the data structures, because usually day-to-day work sometimes includes some includes that, and understanding the data structures will help you. I think front engineers, I especially recommend learning the trees algorithm, how you traverse the tree, what are like different types of traversal, how you build the tree, and so on. Because this, the understanding of the tree is pretty important, because on the front end, we deal with the tree all the time. Imagine having the traversing the DOM elements on the browser. This is the tree. Everything is a tree. So understanding these types of the algorithm, like breadth first search, deep first search, depth first search, and so on, definitely will help you on the front end role.
Mhm. And we have another question from Pranav Bansal. How are you able to manage a work-life balance?
So that's a good one. So you need to establish like sanity check for your work. So you need to set up your working hours and try to follow these working hours. So if you, and also you need to prioritize your working so your working problems. On your work, you can take as much work as you can, but your time is limited, and you need to understand that. So you prioritize only the things that are really important, and try to deprioritize the things that can wait, or maybe you shouldn't even do them. And try to establish the working hours and follow them. Also try to ignore disable the chats after the working time. Usually some like web messengers allows you to, for example, set the no disturbance mode after your working hours. Also, because we have lots of collaboration with the US side, we do the meetings in the collaboration time zone when it's morning in the US and it's like end of the day in our time zone. So we're not overworking, but basic advice here is to take as much work as you can handle, but don't burn yourself. So because you might like overwork for a few weeks, but this will lead to worse performance in the next 2 weeks. So, and you basically will accomplish the same amount if you didn't work a lot. And sometimes also in the companies, you are responsible for certain features and you manage your time. You can basically invest your time to complete this feature, and you might work more than 8 hours in a day. But after you completed this feature, you can take 2 days off, for example, because you already done your job and nothing depends on you. Then you can just simply say, oh, all right, I'm taking off. And taking off means that you're not taking a vacation, you're just going offline.
Yeah, that's a great tip, I guess, and a great recommendation for all of us. And yeah, I guess don't burn yourself down, because London or other city will do that for you with this heat, I guess. All right. One more question from Siddharth Patel. What are the interview rounds at Meta for a senior front-end role, like the sequence of rounds, DSL, DHL, DHR, etc.?
All right. So I will answer general, like more related to the FAANG, because I can't say about the meta, but usually you have one algorithm round, one UI specific round, then the behavioral interview, and then system design interview. The algorithm round can be skipped in some companies, and I can't say it for the meta. But for example, Amazon asks algorithms also with the front end questions. So on the in Google they have this. They can have the algorithm round and the UI specific round, and they can also not have this. So it's a bit random there. And yeah, Apple asks for example, in Apple, if you apply for a front-end position, then they ask more like front-end specific things without algorithms.
Mm-hmm. And we have a comment, I guess not a question, but a comment from Samir Chobe or Chobe. Sorry, I did not know how to pronounce it correctly. Yep. UK versus Germany. Germany has a better social security for you, citizenship in 6 years if you know German versus 5 years for ILR plus 1 year waiting for UK citizenship. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's true, but regarding the social security, completely agree. But UK also has the social security, and you pay taxes for that. In Germany, it might be better. I agree here, but also in the UK, you can apply for Tier 1 visa, which is the global talent visa, and it allows you to get ILR in 3 years. And on the 5th year, you will receive the citizenship.
Mm-hmm. Pranav Bansal, is it stricted? Yeah, the last one. Is it strict to work from 9 to 5, or it can be flexible?
Oh, in my experience, I've never seen such like strict work hours. So usually IT folks have always like flexible hours, and you even can so you can skip the work for 1 week if you want, if you feel like you finished all the things. And yeah, you're basically responsible for, maybe more senior you are, less flexible you are, because you are responsible for many people and you can go away for a long time. But if you're an individual contributor, like a middle engineer or senior engineer that can work in the distributed environment, usually you don't have a strict hours. You basically have a tasks to complete, and once you're done, you can save the time and rest a bit, go somewhere, and there is no. I've never seen these strict work hours, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, good to know. Yeah. Again, some encouragement here. All right. Well, I think we are actually, we are ready to wrap up. And I think we had an amazing session. And by the way, this has been the first Q&A in English from our side, I mean, from AgileFluent end. And I had a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. And I really hope that we'll have more of these streams with fun guests in English. And Zhenya, thank you so much for, oh, Zhenya, are you here?
I don't know, but my camera is off.
Okay, okay,
just a sec.
Yeah. So thank you so much for finding the time and joining us tonight. And I think it was super useful for everybody.
I'm back with the secondary camera.
Okay, there he is. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. That was a nice stream, and thank you for all your questions. Yeah, feel free to subscribe to AgileFluent channel and also to my front-end engineer blog channel. Here we post like interesting stuff on the career, technologies, and so on. Yeah, and see you in the next ones. Thank you.
Yep. So we will be organizing a mock interview with Zhenya, as I already told you. And if you'd like to have some more guests, someone in particular, or if you'd like us to cover some topic about FAANG, applying to FAANG or applying to other companies, writing a resume, working on your LinkedIn profile, please leave your comments in the comment section and we will answer all of them, and hopefully these comments will allow us to think of new videos for you guys. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and yeah, stay tuned.
Thank you. Bye.